So what types of tools or modifications do I use to function more independently in my life? The answers are coming up.
Are you feeding him?
Oh yeah. Hey everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to my channel, Blind to Billionaire. I have a question from one of my loyal subscribers and followers here on YouTube. I'm going to have Corey read the question.
Hey Matt, you told in one of your topics about your reservations about the white cane. But do you use other tools to be able to function independently in your daily life? And how do you feel about those tools?
Thanks Sabrina. That's a really great question. I'll answer that for you right now. Hey Sabrina, thanks for the really nice question. You're right, I do have reservations about using the white cane. And that's just something that I feel a little bit insecure or uncomfortable doing right now as far as gaining the mobility training with the white cane. Although I have been doing more research about it and I'm excited to go through that training at some point here in the relatively near future. Probably more like this fall or winter. I'll probably do that in the next few months. But to answer your question, what tools and or modifications do I use to make my life more independent, as a more independent life? So some of the tools that I do use is, earlier this year, I bought, it's an Amazon Fire 7 tablet. I really like that. It's just a tablet. It's very similar to an iPad. And I use that in conjunction with my PC. And how I do that is that device actually has a talking and a text-to-speech feature. So I really like that. And I use that tablet probably more than I use my PC now. And the way that I use it is I'll do research on it, and anything that my finger touches on the screen, it reads back to me. So for example, my emails are all read to me, and then what I do, since it's so slow for me to type on that device, I'll read all my emails on the device, then I'll go to my PC and I'll actually physically respond to the emails with a physical keyboard, because I can type pretty quick on a normal keyboard. So that's just how I choose to do it. I'm sure that there's a faster, more efficient way, but I find that that's really easy for me right now. And any research that I want to do, I typically do it on my tablet. I just go to Google or something like that, and I'll type in whatever I'm searching for, and I'll do the research, and then I will just have the tablet read everything to me, which is just so much faster than trying to look it up on my own and try to read on my PC. That's just not realistic for me anymore. So that's one tool that I use. Another tool that I use around the house is just a slight modification to the appliances. And what I do is we go to the dollar store and we buy one of those sheets of the stick-on earrings that maybe little kids would wear. So we buy one of those, the sheets, just, it's $1 or something like that. And we'll put it on all the buttons of different appliances around the house. For example, the microwave, we have a button on, maybe like the number 5, and maybe like on the start button, the stop button, the add minute button. And I know where all these buttons are, so that when I go to use the microwave, I just feel for the right, for the little earring on the key, and I press it, and I know exactly what button that is. So it's very helpful. It's just a very easy, slight modification to the appliance to make it more user-friendly for me. We do the same thing with the washing machine, the dryer, the stove. Yeah, I think those are the appliances that we have those on around our house. So those are some of the modifications. I also use, possibly if I'm outside the house, if I'm carrying like a stick, or actually yesterday when I was filming some videos, I had the selfie stick. And when I was making my way back to the door, I actually held the selfie stick out in front of me and was kind of feeling for the door. So again, it's similar to using a cane, and it's the same purpose. But if I'm outside or something like that, I'll use maybe a stick or something that I'm holding to put it out in front of me to kind of feel my way back to wherever I'm supposed to be going. One other modification or tool that I use is, now this is kind of different, but I found that it helps me, is I have a couple different metronomes, and what it is, it's just a little tiny, just like a little tiny electronic device, and all it does is just makes a beeping noise, and I can adjust the rate at which it beeps. So that the reason I bought these things, it was a few years ago, it was in the fall, and I was in my parents' backyard raking. I was raking leaves, and I kept, I'm looking down at the ground, raking, And when I would look up, I was completely lost. I had no idea where I was, couldn't tell which direction I was facing. I didn't know where I was or what I was doing. So I was getting so turned around, even in my parents' backyard. So it was something so simple, and I thought, if I could have something as simple as a metronome, something that beeps and gives me a landmark, then I know where I am. So I don't need to look up and be confused as to where I am. I can just listen for the beep, and then I always have a landmark or a placeholder as for where I am. So I have 2 different metronomes, and when I'm outside doing a different project, I may set these metronomes in certain places, then I know exactly where I am at all times. For example, there's been times where I've been moving between one location and another, maybe 20 or 30 feet apart, maybe like 10 meters apart, and I'll set a metronome at location A and a metronome at location B. And then all I need to know is that I just need to walk from one beep to the next. And I've defined, a clear path where I need to go from where to where. And I don't need to feel my way around or have somebody help me or fear that there's possibly obstacles in my way that I might run into or walk into or, whatever, trip on. So I find that those metronomes are actually very helpful. And I actually bought them on eBay, and they were like, I don't know, like $4 or $5 each. They were nothing, very cheap. And I find that they're pretty helpful when I'm doing outside projects. So I would say those are some of the tools that I use to make my life a little bit easier around the house, maybe outside of the house, and with the technology that I use. I currently do not have a smartphone. I just have just a plain old phone that I use, which has just a tactile keyboard. And the reason I use that is I can still feel the keys, and I can still send text messages. I can't exactly read them, but I can still send them, and I can feel the keys on the numbers and who I want to dial and stuff like that. So I find that phone works very easy and well for me, but I don't have a smartphone yet. The one piece of technology that I use that is adaptive and has accessibility features for visually impaired or blind is that Fire 7 tablet. If you want to see more about it, I do have a couple videos that I recorded, I don't know, maybe a month ago. I have one talking about the Fire 7 tablet that I have, so check that out if you want. Otherwise, yep, that is maybe the answer to, hopefully that answers your question about some of the tools and the modifications that I use to help me live a more independent life. So thank you again, Sabrina. I really appreciate your question. I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to hearing from you again. And for anybody else watching this, if you haven't done so, do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. I'm always doing everything I can to create as much value and bring to you videos that answer your questions or just bring value in general to you, your life, and hopefully your family, your friends, anybody with vision loss. So thanks again for watching. I will see you again on a future video. Thank you. See you soon.